Good morning, everybody. John here with FNP Wargamers and the FNP Morning Show. Hopefully you all are having a very good... Man, what is today? Wednesday. Thank God for Hump Day. Sorry, I'm getting some extra information pulled up here. There we go. Fantastic. Yeah. Sorry, just trying to make sure everything's working. I hope you're having a good Wednesday. It is Hump Day, so that's good. Only 2 more days until the weekend if you are the type of person to be living just for the weekend. So I would suggest, just a friendly suggestion, don't wait for the weekend to enjoy your life. There's a lot of awesome things that go on during the week that you may be missing out on because you wait for the weekend. Don't do that. Enjoy your life now. Enjoy your life like... I was watching something... Enjoy your life like there's only 5 minutes left. So, 5 minutes left of your life. Enjoy it. Don't wait for the weekend. Enough about the philosophical stuff. Let's talk about Games Workshop and other games. So, as usual, I just wanted to see if there was any updates for good old Warhammer community page, and not a lot. It's a little disappointing. So, before I get into any more of that, let's take a look at something. Somebody sent me a leak. I don't know if it exactly was a leak. I'm going to see if I can get my camera fixed here so I'm a little bit more centered. There we go. So a leak. Sorry. A leak for Games Workshop, and they didn't cite the source, and I've noticed a pattern with this individual when they send me information, which, it's something I appreciate. Thank you for sending me leaked information and whatnot. I really appreciate it. Just please give me the source material. That is always good, because I don't want to quote something or release something, hey guys, I just got this information in my inbox, when it was already revealed on another Facebook page or a actual news leak page or another chat channel or YouTube channel or anything like that. So please, if you send anything to us and say, hey, I got this awesome little bit of information, or I got this leak, give us a citation if the best you can. If you got it from somewhere else, that's okay. If you got it from somewhere else, I'll give you full credit and give them full credit for finding it. So let's talk about it. I'm going to see if I can pull it up on my screen here in my little box that I don't know why it is. Sorry, something happened with all of my graphics, and I'm not sure what has happened. I'm not going to tinker with it, so I can do the show right now. So let's do this so you guys don't have to see the... Come on. Alright, sorry for this, ladies and gents. Alright, whatever. We're not even going to mess with this. This is ridiculous. Something happened with the new upload of the gosh darn it, whatever this thing is called, Streamlabs, the update, and once again, all my stuff got jacked. So let's go to the image that they're talking about in particular. Yeah, see, this is all off center. So this popped up in my inbox, and cool. I really appreciate you sending this information to me. It's something that I think people would like to see. However, as I looked through a couple of my favorite sites, this was over on War of Sigmar, the Lady Atia page, and so credit to her or him, her, them for revealing the information. Now, is this 100% legit Games Workshop product that's coming out this year? I don't know. It definitely has the aesthetics, and it's definitely artwork from Games Workshop 100%, and that sprue that all the pieces are on definitely matches Games Workshop style fine cast models, so there's no doubts there. If it's not an actual Games Workshop model, then that's a very, very clever fake. Very, very clever fake. This is... I don't know how I feel about this. It's almost like, it's kind of cool, but it's also the sculpt on it looks as old as that art. It looks like that is a model that they would have made back in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. And even then, yeah, I would say mid to late 80s, that style of miniature. Maybe that's what they were going for. To me, it looks more, they were trying to copy the original art as much as possible. Okay, cool. But it's also a little lazy in its design. I mean, think about that, the first edition, well, I guess it would be third edition Sisters of Battle Codex, and you had that iconic John Blanche art with the Sister of Battle on the front cover. She's got her leg propped up on some skulls, her chest armor, where her boobs are. There was skulls actually on embedded into the armor. That classic miniature came out a couple years ago. I want to say about 2 years ago in Finecast, and they updated it with the new technologies. They made it look really, really good despite being old artwork. But this one looks like they just handed it off to an intern and said, hey, if you want a job here, you're going to need to make something. So take this art, see what you can do with it. And it's actually something I would consider. I would think that what you'd get from Reaper miniatures, Reaper Bone miniatures, or maybe even Raul Partha, which I don't think Raul Partha is even in business. Just looking at it, I'm going to see, let me try to blow this up a little bit more so you guys can see probably better detail there at the bottom screen. I mean, it does not look good. I mean, and generally I'm okay with sculpts, but this does not look like it meets Games Workshop standards. Not what I would expect from Citadel at all. Now, if they're just trying to capture part of the magic of those earlier edition artwork, okay, you kind of did, but you didn't need to capture that early era of not understanding the human physiology. I mean, look at that. I mean, that her waist has got to be like, can you go less than a size 0? I don't know. I mean, is that like child hips there and a little tiny waist? I mean, look at those legs. I mean, they're like, it just looks bad. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to complain and be a jerk. It's just, it's bad. And if it's going to be coming out as a classic model or a model coming out soon or whatever, then you know that thing's going to probably be about $35. That's not worth $35 to me. I don't see them selling a lot of that. So friendly local game stores, buyer beware, buyer beware. So let's get on with some other stuff. So I was hoping that Warhammer Community would do some updates, but they are kind of dragging their feet this past week. This whole week they've been dragging their feet with releases. And I think it might be because of the huge leaks about 2 weeks ago with the pricing all the way through December 14th. I think they're trying to find a way to deal with that loss of information, be able to reveal that all that to us, and they're coming up with all these janky articles. You know, I mean, it seems to be a lot of just bad garbage. You know, and we're 2 or 3 weeks away from Psychic Awakening 2 being released. I think it's on the 29th. Yeah, so we are 23 days away, so just over 2 weeks, and we had about a month or more of Psychic Awakening 1, the Blood of the Phoenix Rising. We've only had a short story or a little fan fiction, or not fan fiction, but free fiction that really didn't actually say anything besides the fact that there's a lot of whack stuff going on in the 40K universe. And I mean, well, there's always something horrible going on. So I'm a little upset that they are not living up to their expectations. Oh, there we go. And what are we getting? A gosh darn how to paint. Okay, today is going to be really crap, ladies and gents, on Warhammer Community. Crap in the sense that there's not a lot of reveals. It's really like they're just, hey guys, we're scrambling. We forgot to come up with articles for the end of the year. So let's go ahead and just give it to Todd and Karen. You guys go ahead and come up with something and just put it up there. We're not even going to check. Now this article will be kind of cool if you just bought into the Bone Reaper, the OCR Bone Reapers, because it looks like a very Very in-depth. Holy crap, there's a lot of information for this step-by-step painting of each of the sections. So that could be cool to you if you like that particular style. Now, on the flip side, whether you like Ossiarch Bone Reapers or not, that is still a very interesting color scheme for any number of armies. So it could be something good for you. And what else we got going on today? Join the Subjugators. Oh, look, Necromunda stuff. You know what? I'm still giving the big finger and lots of F words and other words that I cannot say online without getting in trouble. And just in case kids are nearby also, we don't need them to hear it. So goodbye, Necromunda. I'm done talking about you, you jerk. Well, not you, Necromunda is a jerk, but GW for that horrible Dark Uprising box. Overpriced, especially here in the US. Oh, they charge an extra $65 to everybody here in the US. An extra $65 just for being here in the US. And then, of course, Canada got hit with their price, and, of course, New Zealand and Australia. So, I'm sorry, I'm still salty. Still salty about this. You know, and that whole thing with that pricing, or the whole thing with the pricing, is it's going to show up on a certain less than reputable sites, and people are going to be ordering it from we're going to call them back alley dealers, some back alley dealers, and that's how they're going to be getting it. GW is going to lose money on that. I mean, mind you, they can just crack open the box and toss everything into individual boxes for whatever they don't sell. This is going to be like the Great Stompa incident, or their oh goodness, the Space Hulk, which was a fantastic set, but they re-release every few years. Like, oh look, we made some more. In reality, they've got so many in their back stock that they're like, okay, we give it a couple years, then we'll hit them again, and we'll just sell down until we're done. Then we can make another box, because people, of course, are going to want it after we've sold all these copies. Mind you, it took us 10, 15 years to sell all those copies that we made, but I digress. So on the 31st of October, I did a show about these new game expansions in Barnes & Noble. I'm not going to dwell on this too much because I already covered this. Why Warhammer Community is just now coming out with this. And when I covered it, it had already been out for about a week. So, and then of course, I kind of see now a trend with a couple other sites like Spiky Bits and Bell of Lost Souls. They just kind of piggyback with the latest news and features and everything popping up on Warhammer Community. It's almost like they actually don't have any sources for their leaks. They just ride off the backs of other people. Because they just, basically what I'm saying is that they are just now talking about this. And yes, they've scooped me on stuff. I mean, not me personally, but I don't mean it in a personal attack way, but it's like, come on guys, this was already out. You know, you should be doing your research left and right to see this stuff. So I'm not going to dwell too much on this because I already did a video on all this stuff right here. I am going to say though, if you are wanting to get friends and family, your kids involved, good morning Epion. If you're wanting to get your friends and family involved into the Warhammer 40,000 universe, or even the Blood Bowl fantasy universe, then head over to Barnes & Noble and pick up the Space Marine Adventures or the Blitz Bowl. Like I said, I'm not going to dwell too much on this because I already covered it. This is definitely old news. Now it's about 2 weeks old. Why they are waiting 2 weeks to reveal this information, and why other sites are waiting 2 weeks to reveal the information, I don't know. It's a little odd to me. And I'm not patting myself on the back here. I just happened to come across it. So, hey, if you're just joining me, let me put up this other image here. I want to come back to this. I am not happy with this. I am definitely not happy with this miniature. If you're just coming in, I'll see if I can make it a little bit bigger. Come on. I swear, trying to get these graphics to work. Whatever update I got from Streamlabs just really messed up with all my graphics. I'm going to go back in and readjust everything. I should have taken the time to fix that this morning. So this is coming supposedly soon. You're probably right, Epion. It just seems, if you're going to be a news site, especially in regards to games, and mainly have a big focus on Games Workshop, you'd want to be cover all angles. It's almost like, we've covered on previous shows, and I'm going to cover again because it's getting near release time, the Soulbound, which is coming from Cubicle 7. It is the Age of Sigmar RPG. And not in the same vein as the Warhammer Fantasy The Old World version, 4th edition, that came out last year, but it's going to be along the same lines as Wrath and Glory, which Cubicle 7 picked up. So a lot of exploding D6s, basically a big D6 pool system. So really cool. I mean, everything I've read about it so far looks really good. Now, really quick for those people, this is a new model coming. It looks to me like almost like, hey, we had this model back in 1985, 86. And so what we did was we kind of spruced it up a little bit. Then we put it into a mold, and we took the metal model and put it into a mold, and hey, here's your fine I almost said fine crap, your fine cast resin. Or they handed this idea off to one of their intern designers, and this is what he came up with. Not too happy about the model, and I'm sorry if I'm being too negative today. I'm very critical of Games Workshop lately because it seems like they started blowing up, and now they're making a lot of missteps. The pricing on the I agree. The pricing on the Dark Uprising has really chapped my hide in such a horrible, bad way. And then this model, if this is 100% legit and it is coming out, then I'm not going to buy it just because, that there's no nostalgia for me. Even though I remember the artwork, I remember I've played since 1988, 89, 88. And I remember this artwork. There's no attachment to this. This does nothing for me. Why even release this? There are plenty of other classic pieces of art that you could do for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Why this one? That has no ties to any army, that has no use. And not even like this, the Christmas stuff like the Red Gobbo or the White Dwarf really has any use, but those are kind of cool. This one just looks like they hired some guy or gal from, it's resin too. Yeah. They hired somebody from Reaper Miniatures or Raul Partha. I know Raul Partha doesn't exist, and I know I already talked about this and ranted, but it just seems like they hired somebody bad to do this model. And I think this is John Blanche art. It definitely has that aesthetic, but they didn't need to do this ancient style of doing miniatures where they don't even know how to do female proportions correctly. This is bad. What a bad miniature. In fact, I don't even want this on my screen anymore. We're going to totally remove this from the thing. It's such a bad thing. So there's not a lot of news that's going to be coming probably for the next 2 weeks until the 16th. I should be getting a data dump on what's going to be coming up late in December. My understanding is there's some good stuff, but not great. And I know it's cryptic and very, very vague, but until I get that information, there's nothing I can do about it. I do have somebody compiling the information for me for the Dark Eldar and not Yannari. What is the name for the Eldar? I'm just going to say Craft World Eldar. And yes, Epion, I have tried Wrath and Glory. I played it. I've run a couple during Free RPG Day. I have run the game at a couple tables at Eden Games and Hobbies. It is a very fun system. It's very, very brutal. I like the flow to it, and you really get to customize your characters. You can actually intermix characters. And I used to play or run old games of Rogue Trader. I've done the Dark Heresy, where you play as Inquisitors or their henchmen. We've done the Black Crusade, and we've done the Death Watch. We never played the Only War, where you play as guardsmen. I think it's Only War. But what I like about Wrath and Glory is that, I'm going to pull that up because I'm tired of seeing stuff I've already seen. Oh no, I just got rid of something I did not want to get rid of. Crap. All right, let me pull up Wrath and Glory. Let's go over to Cubicle 7. Sorry about this. And then let's go ahead and Infinity Modifius. There we go. Cool. All right, so Cubicle 7. Let's see if I can find their. There we go. Wrath and Glory, Soulbound. I don't know why this thing keeps doing all the double clicks. Soulbound is very, very close to being released, ladies and gentlemen. Very close. Unless it has already been released, but I don't think it has. Soulbound is going to be your Age of Sigmar era role-playing game. And so far, everything about it looks pretty cool. There's going to be a big focus on the ground, boots on the ground level of role-playing. We see the big realms, but we don't know too much about the inner workings of the cities where everybody's walking around and hanging out, before they go off into adventuring or go to war. So this is going to have a very ground level focus. I mean, you'll still have the big epic battles or big epic adventures, but you're going to have a nice human perspective or ground level perspective instead of the eye in the sky battle focus. Spring 2020. Thank you. It's been a while since I've paid attention to that. Why is this on Middle Earth? I did not want Middle Earth. Wrath and Glory. Here we go. Let's pull this up. Let's see here. Wrath and Glory. Yeah, if you have not taken and their website is not all that great. Wow. Not, mind you, my website's not all that great either. The game, if you've already purchased the Wrath and Glory, this is what I kind of like about Wrath and Glory, is that it's actually, let's start back in the beginning, since we're talking about this, and I'd rather talk about something fun and positive over some of this other stuff that's going on. This game, there we go. How's that look graphic-wise? Yeah, awesome, I did it, and I just undid it. All right, so Wrath and Glory has the number of artists and mainly the creators and authors from the Fantasy Flight Games version of all these Warhammer 40,000 universe RPGs. They basically brought that staff almost completely, almost every member from Fantasy Flight Games over to Cubicle 7. And actually, not Cubicle 7. They brought him over to Ulysses North America at first. And Ulysses North America dropped the ball. I don't know all the details, but they dropped the ball on the release of this. So, Cubicle 7 and Games Workshop, who they've already had an agreement with, and they've already made the Warhammer, the old world Warhammer Fantasy role-playing game great. They basically said, hey, we'll take over that Wrath and Glory. I mean, that's easy. We're already doing Soulbound for you guys, so why don't we just bring it over? And they're like, okay, cool. Essentially, I'm paraphrasing and putting in my own little bit of a narrative in there. But they basically brought all those people over. Not all of them, but from Ulysses North America, and said, hey, we're going to keep what Ulysses North America did. So if you already bought those books and all the cards and everything else, you don't have to change anything. Now, we're going to have some FAQs and errata changes and maybe some additional information. So if you haven't bought the book, then you can go ahead and buy the new book under our flag or our brand name. And it'll have the updated errata and FAQs, everything taken care of. And we're throwing in some additional material. But if you already bought it from Ulysses North America, you're okay. Everything's going to be good. And I know people get on the internet. This means okay to me. This does not mean anything about any racist stuff. So I'm not going to, if in case anybody flags me for that, big middle finger for you. That just means okay. Everything is good. Thumbs up. They said, keep your book. If you want to buy a new one, great. That really helps us out. but you can keep your original book. Just get our errata and FAQ updated information. The rules are staying the same. Congrats. And I think that was a really awesome thing that they did. It's not, it's kind of a rare thing for another company. 1 second, year zero. It's weird for another company to take a product and say, hey, we're taking over this. We've got it now. We're just going to make our new one. You're going to have to buy everything new, everything, we're going to throw all that away. They actually just brought it over and say, hey guys, you're good. We're just going to, we got the project. We're going to keep it as is. Let me see. Warcry compared to, how does the popular Warcry compare to Kill Team in your area? Which rule set do you find is better for competitive-minded players? Actually, we haven't had too much. All right, in our area, I would say Warcry and Kill Team Year Zero are both, they're well received and people really like them. We have like a lot of the stores in town, they've got their loyal group of players and Facebook groups that are playing it. The local store that I work at, we had, I think, 20 people on our Kill Team League that we ran a couple months ago, and we're about ready to kick off Kill Team Season 2 for us. And Warcry, we've got probably close to the same amount of people playing Warcry. At the end of this month, or beginning of next, I think it's on the 3rd, we're going to be launching a Warcry tournament using their organized play kits and then going into a league. Both of them, it's kind of like apples and oranges maybe. I'm not even sure that's the right terminology, because you have the people that are 40K players, but they wanted to play something small, so they really love Kill Team, but they don't care too much about fantasy, so they stay away from Warcry. And then the same thing with the Warcry people, being Age of Sigmar players and like, I don't want anything to do with 40K, no. And then you have the people that are like, I don't want to do either one of these two because they're Warhammer 40K and Age of Sigmar are too big for me. I'm on a tight budget. I got 6 kids, and I can't afford this too much stuff. So they love both games, and it's easier for them to get in for 20-30 minute game. So I think it appeals to everybody, and I think that's why Houston might not be a good gauge for other places in the U.S. or wherever you're from, is because it's such a huge, diverse city. I mean, it's a big place. I mean, you're spending 45 minutes. You want to get from one side of town to the other, 45 minutes to an hour. And we have so many game stores, but they're all like either clustered together within like 15 to 20 minutes. And then you have to go to the next cluster, which is 30, 40 minutes away. Or, I think we're pretty much separated by clusters in the northwest, the northeast, southeast, southwest of Houston. They're not too much in the center. But even then, we get players crisscrossing from all over Houston to come participate in these events. So I would say they have about the same popularity, because we have, I think we have like 1,400 40K players, and I don't remember how many Age of Sigmar players. So we have so many players that are at least on Facebook that crisscross. I would say the popularity is the easiest. Now, in regards to your question, which rule set do you find is better for competitive-minded players? Well, since I have not run a tournament yet for Warcry, I could say that the competitive side, or for competitive-minded players, Kill Team is much more along for competitive-minded players. If you're wanting a much more organized play, competitive, nice, balanced competitive play, once they drop the organized play kits for Aeronautica Imperialis, that is going to be more geared towards your competitive-minded players. But I would say Kill Team over Warcry right now, until we start seeing Warcry tournaments. The big issue with Warcry is they have, for the organized play in their tournament, even though they have all the rules in there, you have to adjust for scenery, because the scenery plays a big part in it. You have to have pretty much all the same scenery on every table, and that's very expensive, which I think is a very bad thing that Games Workshop did with Warcry. Yes, including the terrain makes it really cool, and making it interactive, but forcing people to have these map layouts with specific terrain for organized play is going to cause an issue. So it's something that I'm looking into and trying to find an alternative to, and I know other groups are as well. So I'm not going to dwell too much more on that. I hope I answered your question, Year Zero. I'll be honest, I think Kill Team right now, because it's easy to get into, and even though there's lots of different books and everything, it is it's very forgiving on the terrain setup for every table. So I would say Kill Team over Warcry as of right now. Warcry, I think at the start of the next year, 2020, you'll start seeing that pop up more and more with competitive play, because it definitely lends to it. It's there. It's one of those games that they have designed, much like Underworlds, to be competitive play. So kudos to them. And I'm also running out of time. Tonight, about 8 o'clock, I'll be doing my first evening show. So I'm going to cover what I was going to talk about, because the reason why I got to go to work and I can't be late again. I was late yesterday because I just kept yammering away. So that's all. I'm glad we were able to end on a high note, on a good note, and not dwelling on a lot of bad GW stuff that I'm just angry about. So if you get a chance, check out the Wrath and Glory starter set. If you're interested in seeing the free rules for it, I don't know if they have it up on their page. I'll look into that today. You can go to Drive-Thru RPG, and they did have the mission pack for free RPG Day available for download. You'll just have to create an account to download it, and it'll say you have to add it to your cart. Do you want to pay for it? Yes, and it's $0.00. At least it used to be. So if not, I will see if I can get a link up in our description, especially on YouTube, and get that out to you guys. So Wrath and Glory is a lot of fun, and they've got a tier system. Real quick here, they've got an awesome tier system that you could be playing. Like tier 1 is like you're gutter trash. I mean, you are rogues and smugglers, that sort of thing, to where like tier 3 is about Space Marine. That's when you first get to play an actual bona fide Space Marine. And then like I believe it's tier 5 is when you get up to, hey, we're Inquisitor Lords, that level of gameplay. So, and I think tier 2 is actually the most ideal to play, because it's nice in between, because you can play Space Marine Scout, you can play Death Cult Assassins and whatnot. Go to Kill Team Arena for competitive play. And yeah, you're right, Warcry for narrative. They do have a tournament play set up in it, but it's just going to be, the logistics of it is difficult to execute. Kill Team Arena, it's definitely around a tournament player format. Check out Nova Open. They have a pretty good rules packet for Kill Team. So if you want to try that Year Zero, give it a good look over, especially if you want to run it in your area. With that said, I've got to get going because I'm going to be late for work again, or almost late for work. I made it by 1 minute yesterday. Tonight, 8 p.m., I'll have the evening show, new graphics, and hopefully I can figure out what Streamlabs did and correct some of this layout. Some things are wrong that at least I can see on my end. You guys have a good day, guys and gals, and enjoy Hump Day. We're almost there. Weekend's almost there. So have a good day. I will see